Hello world, NoJumper.com is the place to go if you want to get yourself some of this cool new shit we have coming out. Right here is a kendama. On the screen, you can see other kendamas. You can see that we have all kinds of dope shit. We have mystery boxes, which I'm extremely excited about. Also right here, kendamas that come with t-shirts. Amazing. Great prices, great deals. Pick your box. They come with all kinds of special stuff. Cheap deals. I know that's what you guys want. Anyway, what are we talking about today? Well, basically, I had a tweet. Yesterday where I said this. Trying to do a shitload of podcasts before I go to Japan in a week. Anyone got any good ones in mind? Hint, not your friend with 200 followers. Now, I got a lot of blowback from this. People were really, really not happy about this. And this happens pretty much any time I try to quantify why I don't want to interview a gigantic portion of the people that try to get interviews from me. Basically, if you were to take a look at my DMs or my email or anything, I have people constantly begging me to interview them. I understand why, because No Jumper is a pretty well-liked, established media source, and a lot of people who are out there who are musicians, they look at what has sort of happened to certain people who, got No Jumper interviews and then sort of had their careers take off, and they look at that and they think, shit, all I need is an interview, and then I'll be able to take off too. I'll be the next Lil Pump. I just need an opportunity to be on camera. Here's the thing. That's not how it works. When you get a No Jumper interview, if you do get one, you'll probably get it. And really, this is not about No Jumper interviews. This is about any sort of media content in general. If you want to get an interview, here's what you need to do first. You need to establish a reason why you matter. You have to have something interesting, something that will make people tune in. Now, examples of that. Say you had a bunch of really popular songs out. Say you were a popular musician. Well, then you're not going to have any problems. People are going to want to interview you. Say that you have something really interesting to talk about. I just last week I interviewed Alshon Martin, who was signed to 6ix9ine and Treyway. He's not necessarily the biggest rapper, but he had an interesting story to tell because I wanted to find out how he got looped in with those dudes and everything. So boom, there's an interview. A lot of people, sometimes I see comments where people are like, oh, he turned his back on the underground because he used to do content with this dude. Every time I've ever done an interview, and there might be some examples in which, I did interviews that maybe either weren't necessarily qualified or I did them just because I wanted to talk to the person, whatever. There's always a reason. There's always like some reason, because really think about it. My goal, my job here is to make interesting content that people actually want to watch. And when I said in this tweet, and you would not believe how many people got offended by this, not your friend with 200 followers. Let's think about what it is to have 200 followers. To have 200 followers basically means that the people following you are probably your friends, your family, the people you went to school with. You haven't really gotten to the point in which anybody who doesn't know you in real life, for the most part, gives a shit about you. Okay, so continuing on. I said, lots of people with 200 followers defending their right to exist in the comments. Sorry, but if you got 200 followers, you're not a rapper yet. You're just a dude who raps sometimes. A lot of people are responding to this saying that their follower count doesn't have anything to do with how good you are. Sure, whatever you say, but it gives us a great glimpse into how many people give a shit about you and therefore will watch your interview. If you got 200 followers and your music is good, you don't need an interview. It's the wrong time. Interviews are for when some decent number of people care about you. If you have 200 followers, you aren't there yet. I can't believe I had to write this out. LMAO. Now, I do feel like kind of oh, this is funny too. Look at Chapo tagged Dami, his manager. And I said, give Chapo his account back, Dami. And then Dami responded with this classic meme of Homer going back into the bush. Anyway, this is something I deal with constantly where like people I'm friends with are just people I know in real life. They're just always fucking bugging me and asking me about the interview thing. And it's just awkward because it's like, I might be cool with you. We might be friends, whatever. I might have an opportunity that I feel like might be appropriate for you at some point in your life. But the truth is that I'm not going to give you an interview if you haven't done anything, if you haven't made a fucking dent in the world. Interviews are for people who've already done something, who have that the general population might have a reason to want to hear what you have to talk about. And if you've yet to make any sort of dent with your music, then obviously we're not going to interview you because nobody's going to give a fuck. Now, for the record, there's plenty of places out there, and I'm not going to name them, but there's YouTube channels that you guys are probably subscribed to that are in the general same sort of category as No Jumper, where you could go and you could pay like $1,000 and you can get an interview. That happens. I've seen the rate cards. I've seen the emails trying to get $1,000 from aspiring rappers so that they can get an interview. I don't do that. I don't do that because I believe that the integrity of No Jumper is more important than just making some money here and there. And that's why I've always said that if I were to do an interview for money, which I don't want to, that I would only do it for an absurd amount of money, and I would do it in a situation in which I basically acknowledge that the person was paying to be on there. And for the record, absurd amount of money for me probably means like 20 racks plus. So just for the record, I set that price artificially high. If somebody came in and wanted an interview for 20 grand, would I actually do it? I don't know, because to be honest, it feels really fucking dirty to me. But maybe, maybe I would be open to it. But I would have to, like, I believe that as a person in the media, I have a duty to my audience to be honest about why I'm interviewing somebody. So if I were to ever accept money for an interview, which for the record I have absolutely no interest in doing, I would be totally transparent about it, because I think it's important. It's important for the media to be honest about when they're taking money, and I just wouldn't want to eschew that. Now, I mean, on the other hand, people are going to say, wow, yeah, but you sit there and you take $100 per song play on your live stream, which, by the way, I'm about to get on a live stream after this and play music. So if you guys want to tune in, the link is, I guess, maybe in the description. But if it's not, it's streamlabs.com/NoJumper, and I'm streaming on the other channel, the No Jumper channel. But that is really what I've chosen to do, as opposed to accepting money for content or for videos or whatever. The normal way that it works is that a lot of channels out there will straight up take money from you to put your video on their YouTube channel. We don't really do that. Once in a while we will, like if there's a different circumstance or whatever, we will say, hey, we're down to post your video, but can you break us off with X amount of dollars? And usually it's cool because we don't ask for some crazy amount. What I like doing is I like doing a live stream. There was a kid, Jay Kim, or was it Jay Min? I forget his name. He's just like Asian kid who like sent in a video, and he was pretty solid. And we watched it on the stream, and I was watching it, and I just said, you know what? I think that this is probably one of the better things we watched all night. I think it's solid. I think that this will do well on our channel. Hit my email, send it through. We'll post it on the channel for free. We posted it. Boom. I got like 100,000 views. I think we posted it for free. I don't want to be a liar if that's not true. But either way, we posted it. 100,000 views plus. I was like, boom, I was right. I knew that this one would do all right on the channel. And I like that a lot more. I would way rather have 10 people or 20 people send me in their videos on the live stream. I play the video. The people in the comments can kind of submit their thoughts and let them know what they think of it. And then I can make the decision of which of those I'll put on the channel. That to me is a much better way than just accepting money for it. I don't want to do that. There's so many offers to put shit on our channel. Every day in my email I see it, and I don't want anything to do with it. So for the record, I don't know where this is even going, but I'm not interested. Anyway, the interview thing. What should you do if you want to interview? Well, I mean, you could go pay somebody to interview you. You could start like your own interview thing. You could get interviewed by somebody like real small who doesn't have very high standards for the interview. Or you could just do what I would suggest you do and not bitch about the fact that I don't want to interview you. You know, it's like I do interviews from the heart. And I know a lot of you guys might think like, oh, you know, you seem like you interview any up-and-coming rapper who has clout, blah, blah, blah. Not really. Like sometimes I interview interesting rappers who are up and coming that, you know, people might think like, oh, you're only interviewing them because because it's going to get a lot of views. It's like, well, yeah, a big part of why I do interviews is because I want to make my audience happy. I mean, it's more about making me happy, but at the end of the day, it's like, if I know that there's an interesting story to be told, then I'm interested in doing it. And if it's going to get a lot of views, it's basically like, well, I know that my audience is going to want to watch it. So that's important to me. And I just hate the idea that people who haven't done anything of significance, haven't made any sort of like real artistic contribution to what's going on in the world, think that they're fucking owed some sort of documentation of their completely irrelevant career. It's the fucking worst. And I hate it. I see it on Twitter every fucking day, and it really kind of takes what I expect of humanity and sort of just bing, 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 just brings it down little by little, because it's just not how you go about things. Like, I could have, since I started this, I could have gone so crazy asking for people like for interviews, like the way that they do to me. And I've never really done that. I've never really like asked somebody to interview me. In fact, I have a lot of friends who their entire job is to interview people, and they've never asked to interview me. And I'm totally okay with that because I don't want anyone to interview me because they feel like they have to, or because they feel like it's their duty, or because they feel pressured to, or some shit like that. I would way rather just have them come to me and ask me for an interview. And I feel like anybody out there, you should probably apply that same logic. Like, trust me, I remember the first time I got interviewed. Like, it was a text thing, not a video thing like they typically do today, but it was an unbelievable honor. Like, I was as excited to get interviewed on this fucking BMX website that I probably won't even name because nobody's going to remember it. I was more excited to get interviewed on that website than probably like anybody has ever been excited to be on No Jumper. Oh, and I say that just to say that I understand the level of excitement that people feel about the idea of getting an interview. Like, I grew up reading interviews constantly, and I understand how much of an honor it is and how exciting it is to sort of be able to tell your story in a public forum. Trust me, it's not worth it if you have to ask for it. And in this case, at least, it's just not going to happen if you ask for it. So, sort of my response to some of the stuff I saw on Twitter today. Again, nojumper.com, great website where you can get all kinds of great stuff, particularly these mystery boxes. $100, you get 4 random tees, 1 random hoodie, a beanie, a lighter, and stickers. That's a fucking deal. I'm not even going to do the math, but think about it. 4 random tees. If you were to pay full price, right there, if the tees are $35 or $40, I mean, that could be like $160 right there. A fucking random hoodie, that's like 70 to 80. Beanies 20, a lighter's 5, stickers might be 5 or 10 for a pack, whatever. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff. So head on over to nojumper.com. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Stop asking me for interviews. I'm sure most of you out there haven't, or at least understand what I'm saying. Respect. Peace. Nojumper.com.